Book 101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. One of her mission is to create 10,000 superwoman bodies, none other than Miss Carlijn Krijger.
Hello.
Welcome, Miss Carl Jean on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Thank you. My name is Carlijn, and from a very young age, I've always been obsessed with health. And unfortunately, that was not enough because at 20, I lost my period for a year. And I felt really weird, super foggy. I was so tired and couldn't handle myself. And I knew so much about health in terms of facts and things that like people put on like labels that people put on health medical terms, but I didn't understand how my body worked. I didn't understand what was wrong with me. So I went on a long journey of spending a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of trial and error to heal myself. And through that, I've learned so much. I actually did heal myself, and now I'm teaching other women to do the same for their bodies.
Indeed, to do the same. And my apologies. I think mispronounced your name, Miss Carline. Welcome on Book 101
No
Review.
problem. No problem.
Thank you for being part on Book 101 Review. So today let's talk about how the body actually works behind fancy names. So tell us, Miss Caroline, you built your career on helping people understand their anatomy. But you once said names can sometimes become cages. If you were to forget every Latin term for a muscle right now, how would you begin to describe experiences of being in a body?
Yeah. The in the medical world and in the Western world, in terms of medicine, we tend to look at the body as a chemical lab. We tend to look at molecules, at muscles. We give everything a name. We separate a lot. When you look at hospitals, every doctor has his own part of the heart that they know, and then for the rest, they don't really pay attention to anything else. And I was in medical school for 3 years actually, and you learn a lot of names and you learn a lot of facts and things that we humans have decided that we know. But actually, a big part of that information is actually not even true anymore. It's very outdated. Plus, the body is not just a chemical lab, right? The body is really an electrical being, um, very not sensitive in the part that it's weak, but sensitive in the part that in the way that it has so much senses and so much sensors, right? It's constantly picking on the environment, and you have to be able to learn how to create an environment for your body where it can thrive in, right? So
Hmm.
as Einstein said, like the particle behaves according to the field that it is in. So I like to say that most people just look at the particle and how they can change the particle, like the physical body. And what healed me and what I see working every time again is to change the field, and the particle will adjust as a result. You get the source of it. So yeah, that's really the starting point, and the intention that was there with understanding the body beyond the names. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, Miss Caroline. In your work, you treat fascia not as a packing material, but it's a body's living conversation. If we strip away fancy names, the pectorals, all the latissimus dorsi, is just listen to what the tissue is saying. What might we hear?
Sorry, you got cut out for me. The
Yes,
muscles, and
so
then
the muscles and Yes, the living conversation. If we strip away a fancy names, the pectorals or the Lestimus dorsi, and just listen to what the tissue is saying, what might we hear?
Um, yeah, from my experience, these names are really useful to communicate between doctors, and to have a sort of language to say like, okay, I'm talking about this part of the body, right? It's really anatomy. So the other doctor knows what we're talking about, right? It's really a word that you learn. Like when I ask you to get me a notebook, you have to know what a notebook is, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
just a name that the something that's there is called, but that doesn't, that you know the names doesn't mean that you understand how your body in the first place works, because everybody's a little different, right? And it doesn't mean that you actually understand how to influence that and how to heal a body naturally. Does that answer your
Mm.
question?
Indeed. Indeed, Miss Caroline, you often speak about the bodies as a landscape rather than a machine. If you were
Yeah.
to guide someone on a journey through their own thoracic cavity, not a doctor but as an explorer, what they be surprised to find is there? What would they find that textbooks never mention?
um Interesting question. What would you find? I'd say that there's a lot of communication happening between you and the body, right? You are not the body, you're like a spirit or whatever you want to call it. But we can, like, most people agree that we have a body, we are not the body. So um, there's a communication that happens. So, for example, your thoracic cavity, like you said, this is a part of the body, right? And
Hmm.
each person can communicate with its own part of their bodies. So that is a skill that you need to learn. And for each person, that will be a little bit different. So it's hard for me to say, like, what would you find? Not in terms of like, you would find the heart and you'd find the lungs and you find the aorta and you'll find many things, the diaphragm, but what would that person like actually experience is very different for each person. So um, that's why it's so powerful if someone can learn to do that for themselves, because they'll always have some access, some point of communication, some next step that they know what to take. And so you'll never be stuck in your health journey because you know for yourself. Does that answer your question? I'm not too sure. You're muted, Daniel.
Thank you. You described the body was as a place where everything is connected to everything else, but not like strings on a puppet. What is a better metaphor? Is it the mycelium, a river delta, of a woven fabric? And why does metaphor matter and how treat ourselves?
Wait, what were the words?
You describe the body as a place where everything is connected, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or not? Or everything else. But not like a string on a puppet. What is a better metaphor?
I don't
How would
understand.
you call it in a layman's term? If we are connected in a different place of the body,
Do you mean how we can connect with the body? Or
yes, how would you understand more for an ordinary people? Because you said everything is connected to everything else,
yeah.
our
No, no, no. Okay,
bodies.
yeah, I get it. Yeah, so when you say that everything is one thing and you put everything in it, like it's the same, that doesn't really work, right? It's really
Mm-hmm.
insane because you cannot really see what's what. So that's definitely something you don't want to do. So first of all, you need to realize that you are not your body, as I said, like you're a spirit and you have a body. Okay, so there's always a way that you are communicating with the body. The body is a machine, a landscape, or really an ecosystem of all tiny entities communicating with each other. If you look, for example, the brain communicates with the heart. The brain communicates also with the gut. The brain communicates with many parts of the body. Now, your toes and your feet also communicate with your back, for example. If you place your feet in a certain way, your back will adjust accordingly, and your jaw as well. So all of your parts between, like all of the organs communicate with each other, all of the muscles communicate with each other. If I want to raise my arm, some muscles need to relax, some muscles need to contract. And within that muscle, there's also entities, for example, fascia and muscular cells that also communicate with each other. And within each cell, you have compartments as well that communicate with each other. So the whole body is this system of separate entities that communicate with each other. And you can see yourself as the commander of and the CEO of that system. Okay. So that's the way that I see it. And so that's why it's so effective when you communicate with a part of your body. You can do that telepathically, and it's a whole subject on its own. So we're not going to dive into that too deeply right now as the for this podcast. Um, but it's really interesting to see. And you also see that when you improve that communication in any way, if you improve the cleanness, like the efficacy of that communication, when you loosen up your fascia, when you stretch, when you improve the nervous system in terms of building blocks, in terms of nutrition, in terms of light exposure is a big one, then you see that you feel more energetic because there's more communication, there's more clarity, and so the system works better. That's my point of view. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, Ms. Caroline. And people, our body are interconnected each other. So in your anatomy sessions, you trace the spirals and the slings of connective tissue that traditionally anatomy cuts straight through. If you could point to one place in the body where fancy names have done the most damage to understanding, where would it be and why?
Hmm, that's a beautiful question. I have to think
Thank
about
you.
it actually. Um, wow. I'd say that would be the place where words are the most misunderstood. So we've given um, that part of the body a name, and we don't really understand what that part of the body is. Um, Maybe that would be the gut, actually. There are so many people talking about, or hormones. Let's talk about hormones. Because people don't really understand what hormones actually are, and there's a lot of noise out there on hormones and on cycle syncing and all these things, and testosterone for men as well, of course. Um, so, what would you say that that the hormone is, Daniel?
Hormones is a part of our growth when we are having adolescence and where body are changes, and it is a part of our growing up, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a part of hormones. Yes. So this is an answer that everyone gives me. Like hormones, they immediately think about puberty. They immediately think about sexuality, about the female cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just an example of a hormone. But what a hormone actually is a ways of communication. Again,
Mm-hmm.
right? A hormone is made in the brain. For example, there's hormones made everywhere in the brain, in the body. But let's take a hormone that's made in the brain, for example, FSH, and that goes to the ovaries, right? that FSH is a means of communication. It's a message really from the brain to the ovaries via the blood, right? It's a message, it's a communication. And hormones are also your stress hormone, are also your hunger hormones. There's so many hormones in the body, and just maybe like 5% or something like that has to do with genitals and with sexual health. Not to say that that's out of the picture, but they're part of it for sure. But when one of your hormones is off, and when your communication in the body is off, everything else gets out of whack. So that's something that people do not understand, is that, for example, their cortisol has a major influence on their female cycle, for example, or on testosterone. And leptin has an incredible influence on insulin, for example. And people don't know that. People treat that separately, and they don't see the communication that's there between them. And so I feel like that's the biggest misunderstanding in terms of words. Let me put on a lamp. Does that answer your question? You're muted again.
Definitely, yes. Definitely. So, Miss Caroline, as your mission to create 10,000 superwoman bodies, what are your short term and long term goals?
What's the question?
What are your short term and long term goals?
Short term. Okay, so short term, we're building a community with women's only. I'm sorry. I do coach men though. We have a couple men though, Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he's a one-on-one. They are one-on-one clients. So short term is definitely community for women, to get like my knowledge a little bit more accessible for people to yeah, come in and learn and get results. And then long term, I'm on a mission, as you've mentioned, to create 10,000 superwoman bodies, and of course superwoman as well as a result.
Superwoman indeed. And thank you for that. Goals and looking forward for more success, Miss Caroline. And what would be a piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
People that want to be like me,
Mm-hmm. To
I'd say decide that you want to be exactly like you. Don't be like me.
okay.
I'm myself, and you're yourself too.
Be you, people. Be you. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
A book. Wow. You want like a self-development slash spiritual book, or do you want like a health?
Anything that you want to recommend.
Mm, there's so many great books out there. I love reading. Um, I'd say if you really want to get into it, I'd say you should read Reality Transurfing, which is a very big book, but it's quite literally my Bible. So that's an amazing book. Yeah, I'd say that one. Reality Transurfing from Van Zealand.
Thank you for that recommended book, Miss Caroline. And
For sure.
before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season. Abstract poetry in a third season, and of course, my book 101 review in sixth season too. Comedy 101 a fourth season, and my food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 are in fifth season, science 101, sex 101 are in fourth season, and my baby podcast, Trivia 101, Motivation 101, Spiritual Awakening 101, Entrepreneurship 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Coaching 101, and of course, my Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them. wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Caroline, finally, you've said that understanding anatomy is ultimately a practice of wonder. That the more you learn, the more mysterious of the body becomes. What is the most recent mystery that has stopped you in your tracks, and what your own body show you that could not have found in any textbook?
Um, you really interesting questions. That's really amazing. Um,
Thank you.
the biggest mystery. It wouldn't be a mystery anymore if I tell you, right? um, nah, I'd say the biggest mystery that you can give yourself is when whatever you have with your body, if you have something going on, if you're sick or something you don't want, right? Um, ask yourself how it helps and write like 10, 20, 30 things on how it helps. And there you can create some mystery for yourself with your own body.
Wow, mystery, mystery indeed. So, Miss Caroline, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Sorry, what are some?
Can you please invite the listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever your projects that you're doing right now?
Okay, so yeah, for anyone that's listening that wants help with their body, I do help men, as I said, but specifically women, for sure, with hormonal health, with energy, and all these things are hormones actually. So if that's something they want my help on, they can go to my website. They can reach out to me on any platform. I always respond. So yeah, they can reach out to me privately or on the form on my website. I also have some courses on the website that you can buy, and yeah, that would be my invitation to anyone that's listening.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Caroline Krijger because if you support her, for sure, more and more superwoman help will rise. So, Miss Caroline, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Sorry for the clock.
Monica, people, see you soon.